we're here at Bouchercon 2012, and I am with Sophie Littlefield and Juliet Blackwell, and we're going to talk a little bit about what exciting things they have coming up. And Sophie, you've just had tons of exciting stuff going on. And
tons. Tons. It's kind of a big year. I had a young adult novel come out several months ago. Last month? This month. Anyway, I had a young adult novel come out called Hanging by a Thread. And then next month I have a whole new series starting. Very excited. The first book is called Blood Bond, and it's with Pocket Star. It's an electronic release first, and it features a Pakistani-American detective named Joe Bashir. And then in January, my first Mira is coming out, and it's a woman's fiction thriller called Garden of Stones, and it's about a woman in a Japanese internment camp during World War II. So yeah, and then my last Stella will be coming out in the spring as well.
And A Bad Day for Mercy was very well received. It was wonderful.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
But we want to know when you sleep, if you're writing all of these books.
Yeah, I didn't sleep much last night. That's true.
You weren't working though.
Anything in the works beyond? Are you going to continue Joe and?
Yes, there will definitely be a second Joe Bashir mystery. That's kind of a fun series for me because it's set where I live, although I fictionalized the town name. But it's set in Northern California, and it's more of a traditional procedural, so that's something new for me. And it's if people like, say, the work of John Sanford, they might like this series because it does have sort of an emphasis on character-driven mystery.
So if it's different from things you've written, what were some different experiences you had writing it?
Well, let's see. Yeah, I know she's making us work this morning. Jeez, we weren't expecting that. So I guess I got really, my kids are almost grown now, but when they were in middle school and high school, our community, at the time, I no longer live there, but there was an influx of people arriving from Asia and South Asia. But these are wealthy people who were began to assimilate, and their children, who are my children's age, began attending the same schools, and it was fascinating. It was a wonderful experience for my kids. But I got to thinking about how a community adapts and changes when its makeup changes in both wonderful ways, like the ones we experience, like diversity and so forth, but also in the ways that subtle racism enter into a community, especially an affluent community. And I observed that firsthand for several years, and well, what the heck, like everything else, it made its way into my book. And also, I have to say, the hero Joe is extremely hot. Now, I know he exists only in my head. I understand that. But he's maybe my favorite hero yet.
And
so you want to spend time with him?
I would. Well, he's too young for me. He's only, I think, I don't know, he's like 30-something. He's too young for me.
Did I read that he started out in a short story?
You did read that. That's actually not quite true. I wrote a few short stories that were sort of, Julie, what do you call it when you make studies for painting?
Studies.
Studies. They were like studies.
Sketches, studies.
So I was exploring the characters because there's several other detectives, and there's uniform officers and the departmental head, and I was sort of building this world and this cast of characters, and so I did some short stories, and one of them actually may be provided as bonus content by Simon Schuster, but I'm not sure yet. We're sort of talking about it, so they may be available down the line for free.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah.
I haven't read the Joe books yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
What? You haven't read my Joe books?
Not yet. But everything she writes is fabulous, so it will be fabulous.
I make Julie read everything I write. Yeah, so something y'all may not know is that, well, first of all, the way I get my ideas for books is I ask Julie, and she tells me. And then when I've written about half of it, then I make her read it. And then if she says go, then I keep writing it.
Right. It's all down to me. It's all, yeah.
Pretty much.
She could do it without me.
Pretty much.
That's not true.
A lot of my readers may know a lot about you, but we haven't featured you on my blog, so I'm excited to do this.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm excited too.
I want to do kind of a little bit of background and backstep with you, because you started out painting and another kind of art form. So what then transpired to get you into writing?
I did. I was a professional painter, and I still paint some, not nearly as much, but I did do it for a living for a while. And I don't know exactly what transpired. I sort of started writing as a lark. I thought it would be really fun, and one of the things, I was working as a faux finisher, so I wasn't just doing regular painting. I was working in people's houses, and I was working in a lot of really gorgeous houses in San Francisco, and a lot of the times I'd be working in the middle of the night, and I had all that, security access codes and all to these mansions, and there were a lot of them had a lot of beautiful art in them, and I read a lot of mysteries, and as I was working there late at night, I would think, oh, this would be an interesting setup for a mystery, and why hasn't there been a character who does faux finishing and painting and that sort of thing? So I wrote my first series, which was the Art Lovers Mystery Series, and it was about an ex-art forger who was working as a faux finisher. And I wrote that series under the name Hey Leland, so that was my first series, and that's how I kind of got into it.
So was the decision to write under a pen name yours, or was it a publication decision?
It was mostly mine. I wrote that series with my sister. We wrote it together. So we wanted a name that would sort of represent both of us. So it's an old family name. Okay. One bit from both sides of the family. So, yeah.
And then now you have 2 additional series that you're writing on your own now with those ones.
Right.
And one deals with witchcraft. And you just had In a Witch's Wardrobe come out. So do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Sure, yeah. The Witchcraft Mystery Series is obviously, probably, I hope it's obvious, it's a paranormal mystery series. I also write one about ghosts, so that's what I've been doing under the Juliet Blackwell name. And the Witchcraft Mystery Series features a witch with a vintage clothing store in the Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco. And the main character for me has been a lot of fun because she's newly arrived in town, and she's set up this store, and she, of course, is trying to not be overtly witchy. But in the Haight-Ashbury, she feels like she fits in because everybody's just a little bit, interesting in the Haight, which is really true. So that's why I put her there, and it was a neighborhood I really wanted to explore. And I've been just having such fun with her and the cast of characters in the store and around town. And in A Witch's Wardrobe is the latest, and it features, it has to do with poisoning. And my witch, Lily Ivory, is very skilled with botanicals. So it has to do with poisonous plants and botanicals and who might know, and that a lot of the botanicals that are used in brewing, in witchcraft brewing, or in brewing, actual tonics and that sort of thing that people use for health reasons. a lot of them are poisonous. If you use just a little bit, it's good for you. If you use a lot, it can kill someone. So that was just very fun for me to explore that a little bit.
I was going to say, that must be pretty fascinating research.
It is indeed. In fact, there's a woman, I don't know if she's here, but Lucy Zare, I think, is the Poison Lady. She calls herself the Poison Lady. And she's wonderful, and she was a consultant for me on the book because she knows all about poisons, and she was very fun to talk with.
A lot of times on a Friday night, we'll just start experimenting in Julie's kitchen.
Yeah, we'll just brew a few things, and yeah,
works out usually.
Yeah.
And then in December, you have your next home renovation mystery coming out.
Right. And that's Murder on the House. That's what it's called. And which was a title I couldn't believe wasn't taken.
I know.
I kept looking it up, like, really? Nobody's used this? And that features, it's a little bit different. It's paranormal in that there are ghosts, but the main character is not herself. She's very much of our world, and but she has sort of reluctantly taken over her father's home renovation company in the Bay Area. So she had other plans for her life, but now she's doing this job, and they renovate historic homes in San Francisco, kind of high-end renovations. And she turns out to be really good at the job, but she keeps kind of grousing about it, and I just have a lot of fun with her character.
Such great characters in that, because the dad is so wonderful. I love him.
I enjoy the series because the dad is really my dad.
Yeah.
And
he's so great.
Yeah, he's just a lot of fun, and he's a little bit younger than my dad because everybody in the book's a little bit younger, but he's so much fun. So every time I'm with my dad, I actually quite literally write down phrases and whatnot because he's just very much a character in himself. So in the book, the main character is living with her dad now and instead of running his business, and then what happens is she starts seeing ghosts in some of the historic homes that she's working on. So the ghosts kind of come into play.
Now, do you have experience, like do you do any ghost hunting yourself?
You know, I don't really. We have a good friend, actually, who came over with, she's got all the equipment and whatnot, and she went through my house, because I live in a very old house that I would swear is haunted.
She was very, her name's Rebecca Lynn, and she's also an author, and she found some things that she said were intriguing, so who knows?
Yeah. So I've done that, and I've gone on a number of ghost tours, and I've certainly interviewed a lot of ghostbusting type, and it's fascinating. I have to say, it's something I latched onto the theme mostly as it would be fun to write this, write mysteries that also have another element to them, more than going in as somebody who particularly believes in ghosts. But I have to say, the more that I study about it, it's pretty fascinating when you think about the energy and how people, all of us apparently are vibrating on a certain level, which is why we can see each other, and there are things that vibrate on other levels that we can't see, like radio waves and that kind of thing. So it's not that much of a stretch to think there might be something vibrating on a wave that most of us can't see, but some people are more perceptive to than others. And it's just really fun. It's fun to play with those ideas. And then San Francisco is has such a rich history that it has a million ghost stories already, and so I sometimes kind of take little bits and pieces from real ghost stories and include those in the book, and that's really fun too.
2 books each year is kind of hard to juggle, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is and it isn't. It's nothing compared to this woman here. So she keeps me, feeling lazy.
And you had a recent trip, right, to Paris?
I was in Paris, yes. And before that, I was in the countryside for almost a month.
I didn't like that. So I hate it when Julie's gone. There's nobody to tell me what to write.
That was really fun. Because I'm turning 50 this year, so it was my big present to myself.
You know what? Here's to 50th birthday. Cheers.
Thank you.
We're pretty awesome.
So yeah, I actually cooked up a whole new series while I was in France. I haven't told you about it yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think it'll be really fun.
Don't do that again. Don't be leaving again. I ran out of inspiration.
Well,
where are we going next? We're going to Spain, aren't we?
Spain.
And we're doing a Scotch tour with our friend Gigi. Eventually, Gigi Pandian. We're going to go and drink Scotch in Scotland.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
Bye.